In this video, I'm going to show you the exact SEO checklist I use to help my clients rank #1 in Google and improve their organic traffic and revenue. I'm Tyler Novak, the founder of SEO Align. I've helped dozens of fashion brands improve their organic traffic and revenue, including several multi-million-dollar brands. I'll be walking you through each point of this checklist. And make sure to watch the whole video because at the end, I'm going to show you how you can download this exact checklist to use for your own fashion brand to rank for your most important keywords. So please like this video to show me you're excited, and let's dive in. Okay, so we're into the fashion SEO checklist here. And what you're going to want to do first is make a copy of this so you can actually edit the document. And really the use case of this is going to be when you're trying to rank for a specific keyword. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to have a keyword mapped to a specific URL that you're trying to get ranked. And then what you'll do is you'll put in the URL here and you'll put in the keyword here, just so you know that you're running this checklist for that page and that keyword. And let's get started with the technical SEO section. So there's a few points here. First one, page has to be indexed. If your page isn't indexed, then you're just not going to rank. And when a page is indexed, that just means it's showing up in Google. And so the best way to do this is to just open up a tab and you're going to search site : and then you're going to put in your specific URL that you're trying to get ranked. And so I just did my homepage here so I can see all of my pages, but you're going to want to put in the specific URL that you're trying to get ranked. If you see it here, that means the page is indexed and you're good to go on this point. If you don't see it here, then you're going to need to find a way to get it indexed. One of the best ways to do this is to open up the Search Console and submit your URL for indexing. The next one is SSL certificate is active. So to check this, you'll want to go to your website. And if you look over here in the actual URL bar, this S in HTTPS, that signifies that this is a secure website. And so if you don't have this, if this defaults to the HTTP version, you're going to want to make sure that the SSL certificate is active. If it's not, you're definitely not going to rank for your keyword. The next one is crawl depth is less than 3. So crawl depth is just how many clicks it takes to get to a specific page. So I'll just come over to my website again. Anything that's in the menu here is going to be 1 click. So to get to the training, it's 1 click. To get to my results, it's 1 click. You want to make sure any page that you're trying to get ranked is no more than 3 clicks deep. Because if it is, that's just a good sign to Google that that page isn't very important for your website. The next one we have here is page speed performance is greater than 80. So what you'll want to do is you'll just want to come over to pagespeed.web.dev and plug in your URL here and click analyze. And then you'll want to look at, when you do this, you want to look at the mobile and the desktop results, and you want to make sure that you score greater than 80. There's no science to this. If you're lower than 80, that doesn't mean it's impossible to rank, but you're going to give yourself the best chance to rank for your keyword if your score is greater than 80. The next one is page is mobile friendly. And this is another thing that you can actually look at in the Search Console. And there's plenty of tests out there online where you can just plug in your URL and it'll tell you if your page is mobile friendly. So this is super important because Google has now switched to mobile first indexing, which means they're looking at the mobile version of your site before they're actually looking at the desktop version. So make sure your site is mobile friendly. Otherwise, you're definitely not going to rank for your keyword. Okay, the next step is make sure there are no broken links on the page. So this is something you can test with SiteMiner. What you can do is you can plug in your website or your URL, and what it'll do is it's going to generate a report to show you a bunch of different information. It's going to show you duplicate content, broken links, but it's a really good way to see if you have any broken links on your page. Or another good way to do it is to just manually check. Just go to your website, scroll through, look at every single link, just make sure none of them are broken. If they are, this is going to create a bad user experience. And it also signifies to Google that you're not a very trusted website if you're linking out to broken websites. And the last one in the technical SEO section is pagination is correctly canonicalized. So this is another one that's really important, specifically in the fashion industry. So on your category pages, likely if you have a lot of products, you're going to have multiple pages of products on the category pages. And you want to make sure that any pages beyond the first page have a canonicalization to the original page, the first page. And the reason for that is if you have 10 different pages for a category and you don't have this canonicalization in place, it's going to look like duplicate content to Google, and it's probably going to hurt your rankings. So make sure each of those pages are canonicalized to that first page. If you're on Shopify, most themes do this automatically, but definitely make sure to check that this is in place, because if it's not, this can really, really hurt your SEO efforts. Let's move on to the next section, which is on-page SEO. So this is another really, really important one. First one, you need to have your keyword in the title tag. This is one of the most important places to have your keyword, because Google uses this as a really big indication of what your page is about. So make sure your exact keyword is in the title tag. Same thing with the meta description. Make sure your keyword's in the meta description. There's speculation that the meta description isn't really used for ranking anymore, but it is used in the actual search results. Users can see that. And you want to make sure your keyword's in there, because it's another indication to users that the page that you have is relevant to what their search is. So make sure you have the keyword in the meta description, because it's a really important place to have it too. Next one is keyword is in the category or product title. So this is almost just as important as a title tag. You need to have the exact keyword that you're trying to rank for in your category title or your product title. The next one is that a category or product description exists. I can't tell you how many times I've analyzed a fashion website's category and product pages, and they don't have a description at all. And what's really tough about that is Google relies really heavily on text to figure out what a page is about. And so if you don't have any text and you just have the title, it's making it hard for Google to figure out what the page is about. Plus, the more information you can include about your products for users, the better off they're going to be, because now they have more information to go off. So make sure you have a product or category description in place. And then the next one goes hand in hand with that. And this one is just to make sure that your keyword is in that description. Definitely don't need to stuff your keyword into the description. That's not really going to help you too much, but make sure that the keyword is actually in the category or product description at least once. The next one, this one is really only pertaining to if you're setting up a new page, but make sure you include your keyword in the URL. This is another really good way to keep your page relevant for the keyword that you're trying to rank for. And if you have a page that's been around for a while and that URL has been in place, I probably wouldn't mess with it too much, because when you're switching URLs when a page has been around for a while, it can get a little bit messy. But if you're creating a brand new page, make sure to just include that keyword in the URL too. The next point here is make sure that the keyword is in the H1. So typically, if we're talking about a category page, the H1 is almost always going to be the category title. Especially in Shopify, it's going to be that collection title. So make sure your keyword is in the H1, because that's another important place to have it. The next one we have here is make sure that the search intent matches the page type. This one's really important, because you need to make sure that your page is matching what users are actually looking for. So, for example, let's say you're trying to rank for the keyword luxury handbags. The best way to determine what the search intent is to do a search in Google. So I'll just do a search for luxury handbags. And if I scroll down to the results here, and I see the current results that are ranking seem to be category pages from what I'm seeing. So that tells me that the search intent is when someone searches for luxury handbags, they're looking for products because they want to shop for luxury handbags. But this isn't the case for all keywords. Some keywords are going to be more informational intent, where they're just looking for information. And some keywords are going to be transactional like this, where users are actually looking to make a purchase. So in this case, you would want to make sure you have a category page set up to rank for this keyword. If you're trying to rank a blog post for this keyword, you're going to have a much harder time, because Google has identified that the search intent is that people want to look for products to buy. Okay, the next one is make sure the content is original. So in your description, your category description and product description, make sure you're not copying any other website, especially if you are getting the product from a supplier or a manufacturer. Don't just copy their description, and make sure not to copy and paste from ChatGPT for this. You can use AI tools to help you write this, but just do some heavy editing on it to make sure the content is original and make sure that it really just has a human touch to it, because it's really easy to tell when people are writing descriptions that are generated completely from AI. The next point is there are 5 pieces of supporting content. So when you have a keyword that you're trying to rank, make sure you have supporting content for those keywords. So that could be other category pages. Maybe you're getting a little bit more granular. So for example, if you're trying to rank for luxury handbags, maybe you have subcategories that are luxury leather handbags or luxury brown handbags. You could go that route, or you could have supporting content that is blog posts. So you could have 5 blog posts about luxury handbags. So that's another really good route to go to. So make sure you have at least 5 of these. The next one is make sure that keyword targeting is unique. So this one's really important. This one's a really big issue that I see with fashion brands, is that their keyword targeting is not unique and they have the same keyword on a bunch of different pages. And this is going to hurt your rankings so quickly. Make sure you're only targeting this keyword on one page. If you have multiple pages where you're trying to target this keyword, it's going to create keyword cannibalization and you're just not going to rank for any of those pages. So this is a really important piece. If you are targeting a keyword on multiple pages, then you're going to have to pick a page to be the dedicated page for that keyword. And you're going to have to target a different keyword with that other page. And the last one in the on-page section is make sure you have schema markup correctly set up. So schema markup is how you identify a little bit more information about the page. So this could be a category page or it could be a product page, but you basically are identifying information about it that you can kind of make it easier for Google to understand that page. A lot of platforms do this automatically for you, but you need to make sure that this is set up just to make it as easy as possible for Google to understand what the page is about. Okay, let's move on to the next section, which is user experience. So you need to make sure that you're creating a good user experience because Google uses user signals in their algorithm. And if you're creating a bad user experience, then Google's going to pick up on that and your rankings are not going to be good because of it. So first one, make sure you have an about page. It doesn't have to be anything fancy, just have one. Second one, same thing, have a contact page. This is the same deal where it doesn't need to be anything crazy, but just provide a way for people to be able to contact you. People get really frustrated when they can't find either the about page or the contact page if they don't exist. So make sure you have these in place because it's a good signal to Google that you're a legitimate website, but it also helps create a good user experience. The next one, make sure users do not need to scroll to get to your products. And this is for category pages. So like I said, you want to have a category description. You want to have a couple sentences there, but don't have a full paragraph or anything that's going to create a bad user experience where people need to scroll to get to products. It's just not good from a user experience standpoint. And it's going to create bad user signals, which is going to hurt your rankings. Another one that I see that's really frustrating for users is aggressive pop-ups or ads. There's nothing more frustrating when you get to a website and as soon as you get to the website, an ad pops up and you have to try to figure out how to close that out. Sometimes it's not very obvious how to close that out. Make sure you don't get too aggressive with the pop-ups or ads. Otherwise, people are going to get frustrated and leave. Google's going to understand that and your rankings are going to suffer. Next one, make sure there are at least 5 internal links to this specific page. And so this can be from other category pages, this can be from other product pages, or it can be from other blog posts. Just make sure that you have at least 5 internal links to this page. And going off of that one, the last point is make sure the internal links, make sure that the anchor text is optimized for that keyword. So when you're including internal links on your website, it's always a good idea to make the anchor text keyword rich, because that's a signal to Google that when you're internally linking to a page and you have the keyword in there, it's another signal to Google what that page is about. So really important to make sure you have your anchor text on those internal links optimized for the specific keyword you're trying to rank for. And the last section is authority. So there are a few really important things here. So there's only 3 points here, but this is really important. The first one is make sure your domain rating or authority score is comparable to websites in the top 5 for this keyword. So domain rating is the score that Ahrefs uses and authority score is what SEMrush uses. Both are pretty similar metrics, but make sure you're in the ballpark with the websites that are in the top 5 for your keyword. Like I said, authority is so important. If you're not in the same ballpark as those other websites in the top 5, you're going to have a really hard time ranking for that keyword. So if you don't, you're going to need to put your focus on building more authority to your site in general. The next one is you need to make sure the number of referring domains that you have to that specific URL is comparable to the websites in the top 5 as well. So not only do you need to have good site authority, you need to have specific links to the URL that you're trying to get ranked. And if you don't, then you're going to want to try to build links to that specific URL, because that URL just might not be strong enough to rank as is. And the last one I have here is the quality of the backlinks is comparable to websites in the top 5. So it's not enough to just have the same number of referring domains. They need to be quality backlinks. So make sure actually do a deep dive into your competitors' backlinks and your own backlinks, and make sure your backlinks are just as good, if not better, than your competitors' backlinks. And if they're not, then you're going to need to try to find a way to build more high quality backlinks, because like I said, backlinks and authority are so important once your page is relevant, you have your technical issues cleaned up, and your user experience is in a good place. So this is a really, really important area to put your focus, is making sure that you have enough high quality backlinks, enough domains to the specific URL you're trying to rank, and just enough site authority in general. If you want to grow your organic traffic and revenue, then make sure to follow this checklist. I've used this exact checklist to help my clients rank #1 and bring in over $50,000 per month in organic revenue. I'll leave a link in the description where you can download this checklist to use for your own fashion brand. And if you'd rather have me help you instead, I'll also leave a link in the description where you can schedule a call with me to see if we'd be a good fit to work together. If you got value out of this, please like this video and subscribe for more fashion SEO videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.